we have 8 keys for climbing the mountain.
Very often, I mean, if you've been on to very high mountains like the Alps or Kilimanjaro, you very often can't see the summit. You don't know quite where you're going because you can't see it. It's covered in cloud much of the time. And I think that's a little bit it's not a clear one-way path. It's got a big bright light shining down on you.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Stella. Hello, Lisa from Italy.
Thank you for joining us, those of you who have managed to join us.
Yes. Do we have any South Africans here tonight?
Not very many.
Yeah, we've got Stella from Fourway.
Yeah, but not very many. I think most of the South Africans are sitting in the dark.
In the darkness.
At this point.
Darkest
so we
Africa.
decided to go ahead and do this anyway.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll catch up later.
That was the old joke about Africa.
Yeah.
What did Africa do before candles? Well, they had electricity.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to be talking about climbing the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we were inspired by that YouTube video by that Shaolin monk.
Yeah.
What is his name? Master Shi Heng Yi. Heng Yi.
Yeah.
He did a TED Talk, which has got a few million views.
The most amazing thing about his TED Talk, was that he has 14 million views. 14 million views.
Shows you how many people are interested.
Yes, that's right. 14 million views. And his
it wasn't about climbing mountains.
It wasn't titled Climbing a Mountain, but in there he tells a story told to him by his teacher about climbing the mountain. And we thought, well, that was quite a nice theme for our satsang, to talk about climbing the mountain. He had 4 points in climbing the mountain, which you can see on his YouTube, but what were they?
Yeah, so it was basically, obviously, the mountain of enlightenment.
Mountain of awakening.
Of awakening.
Yeah.
And the first one that he said is recognizing where we are, who we are, what state of the journey we're in. Right?
Yeah. And then the next one was to accept what is, accept that it's raining in this moment, or accept that you don't have electricity in this moment, or accept that the path is rough in this moment, that there are boulders to climb over. So his second was acceptance. And his third?
Investigation, asking questions.
Yeah.
Dialoguing.
Yeah.
Self-discovery.
Yes. Yeah. And the last one he had was non-identity, not being identified as a sense of self with your mind, with your emotions, with your story of your life. So those were his four keys, and we have come up with our own, which come to 8. We have 8 keys for climbing the mountain. So the mountain, just remember, it's an idea of awakening, being climbing the mountain, going up the mountain. This is self-realization, climbing the mountain. And it's a good analogy because most mountains, when you want to climb them, become quite difficult. It's a difficult process to climb a mountain. It's not just an easy walk in the park. It's climbing the mountain. So there's a certain amount of work involved in this process.
Yeah, and very often, I mean, if you've been on to very high mountains like the Alps or Kilimanjaro, you very often can't see the summit. So you know you're climbing something, but you don't know quite where you're going because you can't see it. It's covered in cloud much of the time. And I think that's a little bit like this path.
Yeah.
It's not a clear one-way path. It's got a big bright light shining down on you. It's a journey. It really is a journey. So we've just kind of chatted about a few ideas, and we thought we'd talk around that.
Just on that point, what the mind always wants is a clear destination. Right. It really wants to know where you're going to and how long it's going to take you to get there. And, this journey to self-realization, to awakening, is something to be done on trust. In other words, giving up the idea of a fixed destination, of bells and whistles and whatever one would imagine that destination to be, and also the time, because in truth there is no time. And giving up those two, the need for a fixed destination and giving up time, are the two fundamental keys to a successful journey. But those aren't that we've identified tonight, are they?
But I mean, we can just chat around them because it's very relevant. That is that you think you're going that way and that's the destination, and it might not be a straight route to that.
No,
it's probably going to go. You're going to go up. You're going to go down. You might stumble. And at times you won't see it. You won't be able to see anything, and you've just got to trust that the journey is unfolding.
As it should.
So we sort of started off ours with, and this lines up with our journey to freedom. Actually, it's quite a lot of the same titles that we've used for our different weeks. But the first point that we thought of was inspired intention. So if you're setting out on any journey, you've got to have some kind of idea what you want. So, why are you climbing this particular mountain? Why are you on this path? What do you want? What's the calling? What's the thing that's actually making you continue on this journey, which can actually be up and down and a bit confusing and a bit scary sometimes. So we just want to talk around that inspired intention, because if you don't have an intention, if you're a traveler in physical terms, you need to know kind of where you're flying, or you need to know something about why you're on the journey.
Why do you want to go there? Why do you want to set off on this hero's journey? Why do you want to do that? And that's quite important, to have some sort of intention within you, some inner fulfillment that you would like to achieve through this climbing the mountain. And it's interesting, you mentioned our Journey to Freedom. That's our online course, which is a 13-week process. And each week we go through a different step in this journey. And this climbing the mountain is very much about a journey to freedom. If you think about it, freedom is probably something your heart yearns for, freedom. And you can put other words in there as well. But freedom would definitely perhaps be the illumination that we would love to experience, that freedom, the journey to freedom. And if any of you are interested in journeying with us on the 13-week Journey to Freedom course, the online course, if you want to join, you can go to our website, which is journeysofawakening.com, and you can sign up.
Just going back to inspired intention, what is it that you want? That's always a good question to ask. Why are you on this journey? Because many people don't know that they're on a journey. I think we're all on a journey if we're human beings on this planet, but many people don't know that they're actually on a journey to consciousness, or a journey of awakening, or a journey to freedom. They're just, life gets quite busy, and it's kind of one damn thing after another, isn't it?
For many people,
say?
Yeah, one damn thing after another. That was the definition of history. And for many people, life has been reduced to the mundane. It's been reduced to the struggle to survive today, to get enough to feed and to clothe and to house yourself. And that's a very poor way of living your life. Very, very poor way, because at the end of the day, it doesn't nourish your soul in any way. And it's definitely not the reason you came to this planet, this beautiful planet called Earth. And then when people have struggled and suffered and experienced a certain level of pain, eventually they get to the point of saying there has to be a better way. And the moment you really go into that depth of emptiness, saying that the old way of struggle and strife and the mundane is pretty meaningless to me, and you say there has to be something more, that's when the light of awareness comes in. So that's when the intention comes in, the intention for a higher purpose for your life, a higher calling for your life. So that's the first sort of part, is to have that sort of inner intention. And then we move into, this is really, really important, is commitment. One has to commit to the journey. So, even for example, we ask the people who are doing our 13-week online Journey to Freedom course, we ask for a commitment. They actually have to sign a commitment
to themselves.
No one's going to check up on it, but a commitment to this transformational journey, commitment to do the work. And there's a beautiful quote which we have here,
which I'll read. Yeah, because the thing is, without commitment, you first of all have to know how important the journey is. So that's why that inspired intention. What do you want? So if you want freedom, then it's a commitment to that journey. And that's probably the most important commitment that you can ever make, although we don't think about it because we're too busy in our mundane lives to think about that. So it's to make a commitment, because, we see it all the time in our own lives. If you commit to something and you stay with it, there's a good chance that it'll actually become something. And if you don't, it won't. And we see that all the time with people on our journey, the people that really go in with a commitment, with an intention, and they're actually committing to their own journey. They're not committing to us, they're committing to their own journey. They're the people that really transform.
Yeah, because they'll invest their time.
They're investing. Yeah.
They'll invest their time, their attention, and their focus in doing this transformational work.
And those are the kind of questions you can ask yourself, what do I spend my time on?
Yeah.
How much time do I spend on what I really want? So if you want freedom, what are you doing to find that freedom? And, what do you spend your time reading? What do you spend your time thinking about? What do you spend your time talking about? Because that's all that's going to give you an idea of what you're committed to, isn't it?
And one of the things that we've spoken about quite a few times on these satsangs is the split in the path. And the one path is marked fear and the other path marked love. And one of the most important commitment we can ever make is to the path of love, I feel. And it's not a case of, the Bible says something about you can only have one God. And I believe you can only have one path. You can either choose the path of fear, which is looking to external situations, circumstances for your fulfillment, or the path of love, which is very different, because the path of love, as I mentioned last week, doesn't have any promise. There's no promise in love ever. But magically, each and every step of your journey is looked after. And that's the path of love. And many people are in careers that maybe don't gel with their heart's yearning, but they go to work because of fear of not enoughness. That, I'm sorry, you are still committed to the path of fear. The path of love is very different. And we started this evening's satsang talking about trust. The trust and love they go hand in hand. And that is obviously quite a commitment to make. Commit to your blisses, as Campbell would have urged us, Joseph Campbell. Follow your bliss. That is love. And that's a good commitment to make. What have you got there?
So this quote was written by William Hutchinson Murray. It's often been attributed to Guti, but it wasn't him. It was actually this guy. And he wrote a book called The Scottish Himalaya Expedition. So he was a climber. He was a mountain climber. And it always comes to me, this quote, because it's so powerful. And I'm sure you've heard it, but if you haven't. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. So that's just a beautiful quote from someone who's obviously climbed a lot of mountains. And the Himalayas is quite a climb, if you're going to Everest. So that's it. It's that moment that one's committed. But in order to be committed, you've got to know what you want. So if you want freedom, then what's your commitment to freedom? If you want love, if you want peace, if you want joy, what's your commitment to that? What are you prepared to commit to? Yeah. Maybe even sacrifice for that. Yeah. And it is true, in my life definitely, and in lives of many others, that once you commit, because we are energetic, there's an energy in commitment. There's an energy in it. And we are energetic beings. So once we commit, the energy moves with us. Wherever we place our energy, it flows. We place our focus and our intention on something, the energy flows in that direction. And that's what happens. I'm sure it's happened in most of your lives. You commit and suddenly things start to actually come together.
Yeah, for me, and there's two really important parts of this, and that's the opening line. Until one is committed, there's hesitancy, the chance to draw back. And the second part of it, or the most important part of it, is the very last line. It says, begin it now. And it's to realize now is all there is. There is only now. Commit now to your journey, to climbing this mountain. Commit now to the return to love, to freedom, to joy. Maybe it's even, you might like to even put the word God in there. For some of you, the word works quite well. It may be even a commitment to the divine.
Or
But
the
make
sacred.
that commitment.
Yeah.
Make
absolutely.
that commitment. That's really
To
important.
beauty. What about that?
Yeah, commitment
Commitment
to
to
beauty.
beauty.
Yeah. So that's the second one. The third one is, this is actually part of the whole journey. This is really important. It's why we come to earth, because we have forgotten this one. And that is, who are you? Who are you? In the Journey to Freedom, we spend a week on that, investigating it. But ultimately, it's a lifelong journey. Who are you really? Not who you think you are, not who you're being told you are by society. But who are you really? Because you're not what you do. You're not what you have. You're not what other people think of you. Those are just labels on the outside. Who are you really? And we looked at that in the opening meditation this evening, because I asked the question when you were listening. I said, who is listening? What is listening? It wasn't your name. It wasn't your race. It wasn't your gender. It was something deeper that was listening. Even if you changed your name, even if you changed your gender, I don't know about changing your race, but if you changed everything around you, you would still be you on the inside. That you. What is that you? And how much of your focus in your day-to-day living is on that question. Who are you really? Because until you know that, the path of fear stands for false evidence appearing real, because you don't know who you are. So the false evidence appearing real will be very alluring. It'll pull you in that direction. But as you start to awaken to who you really are, love is the only answer. Whatever the question, love is the answer. And that because then you start to know who you are. You're not this finite, vulnerable point in space that's extremely susceptible to time. No, you're something more magnificent than that.
Yeah, this is the journey of the big you. This is not the journey of the little Michelle, the little John. Just this finite human that I happen to be living through. This is not the journey we're speaking about. Yes, there is a journey of the person as well. But what we're talking about on the journey to consciousness, or the journey to awakening, or the journey to freedom, or enlightenment, or whatever, climbing the mountain, is the journey to beyond that which is finite. So it's beyond the person, beyond the name, beyond the body, beyond the emotions. Who am I? That's the one that's making the commitment. Because the human one, wants to, go on holiday and have a car and have a house and have a wonderful life. Yeah, that's great. But this is much bigger than that. And this is a journey that goes many lifetimes. This is not a finite journey. So when this body finally sort of says, okay, it's had enough now, the being will continue. So it's to ask, it's really to say, who is making this decision? Who is making this commitment? If it's the little me, or is it the big me? Is it the infinite me? Is it the divine me?
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to see that you're not your mind, you're not your emotions, and you're not your body, because all of those come and go daily. Every time you breathe out 10 to the power of 22 atoms. So your body is coming and going every moment. And we know that none of you tonight are wearing the same meat suit you were wearing when you were a year old, or 2 years old, or 5 years old, or 10 years old. Those meat suits have died a long time ago, and you're still here. Every 9 months, 8 months, 9 months, we know that every cell is replaced in the body. And yet we are still here. We're always here. And your emotions, they flow through you. They come and they go. Your thoughts come and go. Your education comes and goes. Even if you developed dementia and you lose your mind, you're still you. You're still here. You're still aware. There's still that. Even though you can't remember anything, you're still the true essence of awareness. So So that's the investigation which is necessary on the climbing the mountain. And it's a daily, moment-to-moment investigation. Who am I? Who am I really? Not who I think I am. I'm not my accomplishments. I'm something much deeper than that.
Yeah, roles, achievements, houses, belongings.
Yeah.
We're none of that.
No.
They're all going to go at some point. I remember my late mom used to say, you know, in the inside, I feel exactly the same as I did when I was 15 and she was 90.
Yeah, my
at
mum
the
said
time
the
that she was
same.
about to die.
Yeah.
She used to say, I don't feel any different. She
Yeah.
said, people look at me in a different way because I'm old and wrinkly and frail. But she said, I don't feel any different inside. The being inside me is exactly the same.
Because I know my
That's
mum would
something
say the same. She'd look in the mirror and she said she'd get a shock at the
Yeah,
old woman
who's
looking
that?
at her in the mirror.
Yeah.
Because on the inside, you know that's not who you are. You know, the outer is aging,
It's
but
absolutely.
the inner is timeless,
Timeless.
ageless, eternal. Who is that? To recognize it. That is part of the journey, climbing the mountain, to recognize that essence, that true eternal being that we are.
I think if we can do that, I think that is the fundamental, one of the fundamental keys actually,
Yeah, it is.
which is why it's such an important question that's asked in any spiritual journey, in any spiritual tradition. It's you don't ask it lightly. You ask it with a lot of intent. Who am I? Then you're going to be shown who you're not.
Yeah.
You're going to be shown all your conditioning, all your fears, all your worries, all the things that you're not. You're going to be shown that.
Yeah.
If you've asked that question, who am I? You're going to be shown. And that's the unfolding of this journey. So it sometimes isn't pretty. Sometimes it's not easy. Because there's going to be parts of you that you go, oh, don't like that very much. That's not me. No, it's not. But you have to see it. So that's the who are you?
If you find what we're sharing in these points helpful, please press the like and the share button.
that helps.
And any comments or questions, type them up in the comments box.
And even if you're watching this after the fact, because most of you got load shedding while we're doing it live, please do comment anyway.
Yeah.
So then the fourth one we came up with was conscious relationships, which is also a week that we cover in Journey to Freedom. Because any journey, you're not on your own ever. So, if you imagine if you are climbing a mountain, who are you going to climb it with? You're not going to be going up the mountain on your own. You're going to be climbing it with people, with other beings. So, and we're always in relationship anyway, because there's a conscious relationship with you and the mountain. And you in the sky, and you in the earth, and you in the air, and you in the water. We are in relationship all the time. We're never not in relationship. So how are those relationships?
Yeah. Are they unconscious? Are they programmed through expectations, through wants, through needs? Are they programmed through childhood issues? Are they run by your unconscious mind, or are they conscious relationships? That's an important one to look at. So that's point number 4. So the first one was inspired intention. Then we had commitment to the journey. And then we had number 3 was who are you? Who are you really? And number 4 is conscious relationships. And then we move into number 5, which is such a key to experiencing this destination of self-awareness, of freedom, of love, and that is forgiveness. That's a huge one. Forgiveness. True. What is forgiveness? What does forgiveness mean to you? Not what you've been taught, what you've been programmed to be. What is forgiveness? Surely forgiveness is just letting go, giving it up. Stop carrying that baggage. Does it serve you to carry that anymore up this mountain?
And I mean, if you've ever climbed any kind of hill or any kind of mountain before, you'll know that you eventually start to shed that luggage.
Yeah.
If you've got a big, fat, huge backpack, that thing's going to be, you're going to get rid of stuff on your way because it's just too heavy.
Yeah.
So what do you want to let go of? What are you prepared to let go of on this journey? Because you can't carry it with you. So what are you prepared to let go of? What are you still hanging on to? What's the baggage?
Yeah, if you're looking for freedom, forgiveness can give you that. If you're looking for love,
Absolutely.
Forgiveness can give you that. If you're looking for peace, forgiveness can give you that. If you're looking for bliss, forgiveness can give you that. If you're looking for ease, forgiveness can give you that. Forgiveness is such a powerful key on this journey as we climb the mountain.
You cannot be free if you can't forgive.
Yeah, if you start out the journey, you've gone to Nepal and you want to climb the mountains there, and you've got 4 or 5 suitcases with you. Those suitcases are not going to stay with you for very long, that I promise.
And if you're still hugely attached to where you've just come from as well.
Yeah.
You know, if you're climbing the mountain with the thought of, I shouldn't be here, I should be there, and I should be with those people, and I've left that behind. It's kind of in a way letting go, not being attached. It's letting go of anything that's weighing you down. You know, I don't know how many times people say, I'll never forgive that person. Well, you're setting yourself up for a life of struggle then.
Yeah.
Because you will never, ever be free.
Yeah.
So what I usually say is it's like you have a hook into that person and they have a hook into you. And when you take your hook out, you free both of you.
Yeah, you're off the line.
You free, you unhook yourself. And that's liberating.
Yeah.
So
as you're walking up the mountain, just let go day by day. Drop a few of those baggages that you're carrying around with you.
Every day.
And see how much lighter you feel. It's a day-to-day practice. Forgiveness is an ongoing process, moment to moment to moment. Forgive each moment as it occurs. Forgive it as it occurs. Drop it. Makes it easier that way. Don't carry the previous moment into the present moment.
And the most important person actually that we're forgiving is ourselves. Because most of the time we find it very difficult to forgive ourselves for what we have done, haven't done, should have done, and all that. So what are you still hanging on to that you could forgive yourself for as well? Because that's adding to your baggage, and it's going to get really heavy.
And if that's a particular blockage that you've been battling with in your life, then we do urge you to come on our Journey to Freedom course, because we spend a whole week just looking at what
powerful.
Is forgiveness. Yeah, what is
Powerful
forgiveness.
week,
and next week, next point.
Acceptance.
Acceptance.
That's huge as well.
Power of acceptance. Amazing at the transformation it can make in your lives. Acceptance. And what is acceptance?
Yeah, so, what is acceptance? So you're on the mountain, and again, if you've done a hike or any kind of long walk, you'll know it's 1 minute it's sunny and the next minute it's raining, and the next minute might be hailing. Then it's cold, then you're wet, then you tired,
hungry.
Hungry. What am I doing on this mountain? Why
disillusioned.
Why aren't I at home in my comfortable bed?
Yeah.
So it's acceptance of each step that you take and each thing that arises as just, it's raining. Oh, this is uncomfortable. I accept that it's uncomfortable. There we go. Our power went out. So it looks like we're still online.
Yeah, we didn't drop. No.
Not yet.
So we've gone into load shedding.
So accepting of load shedding, as we're talking about accepting.
Yeah,
we accept the load shedding. So what can you accept? And the feeling of non-acceptance and what that does to us and how that weighs us down.
Yeah. And to accept how you feel about it. You accept your emotions, you accept your thoughts.
Yeah.
You accept exactly what is in this moment. It's the only thing you ever have to accept is just the present moment. That's all you ever have to accept. And that you can do. You can always accept the present moment. Just accept it. It is already here. Why resist it? It is here. There is a rock in your path. The backpack is getting heavy. You are tired or you are hungry. I accept that I'm hungry in this moment. Now if there's anything positive I can do about that, moving the rock, dropping the backpack, feeding myself, well then I do that. But I don't do it with an air of non-acceptance anymore, of resistance, of anger or resentment. I do it now with an attitude of acceptance. It makes your journey completely different.
Yeah, because what does resistance do? It just adds to the suffering, doesn't it? It makes the situation a whole lot worse.
A whole lot worse.
It's raining, and then our mind will go into the story of if it shouldn't be raining, why is it raining so hard? They said it didn't say it was going to rain. There's a whole story about the rain, as opposed to it's raining. It's like the load shedding. I mean, we can choose to get our knickers in a knot, all of us South Africans, and I think the rest of the world's going to experience it quite soon as well, about load shedding and not having enough power, or just there's load shedding. I accept that there's load shedding. I'm going to do what we can do. And if you can't do anything, you can't do anything. If you drop the call, you drop the call.
Yeah.
If you can't do the meeting, you can't do the meeting. But it's to actually drop the story that comes with this. And, you know, it's almost seeing it as part, oh, well, this is also part of my journey.
Yeah.
We are in South Africa. We have load shedding.
Yeah.
This is part of our journey.
Yeah.
In a bigger sense.
Yeah.
Not just the little human journey.
I remember many years ago being quite impressed in the opening line of a book called A Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck.
Yeah.
And the opening line is, life is difficult. And quite often when the path gets difficult, we say, well, I've done something wrong. I've obviously chosen the wrong path. Why is the path difficult? And that opening line is to accept the path as it is in this moment. That's what that opening line is all about, to break the misexpectation, if there's such a word, that it should be easy. Well, this moment is as it is. Life is difficult. Well, okay. If life is difficult and I accept that, then the suffering ends. That's the end of suffering, is giving up resistance. Acceptance is the end of suffering. Very powerful line, that life is difficult. Yeah.
It's also the end, acceptance is also the end of victimhood.
Yeah, it is.
It's just the end. It ends when you say, oh, this is happening, I accept it. Somewhere along the line that I don't understand, because it's a much bigger picture, because there's some kind of incredible plan here, this was supposed to happen. So I accept it. There's no victimhood there. There's no poor me, why did it happen, it shouldn't have happened, it always happens to me. No, this is happening. Because somewhere along the line, this is part of my journey. This is what I'm having to learn in this incarnation, in this part of my soul's journey. And that brings us to the next one, which is gratitude, actually.
Gratitude. You know, you can walk up the mountain resenting and resisting every single step that you take, or you can look around and see the divine, see life, see beauty in each and every step, and you express that in your heart through gratitude. Just gratitude for this particular moment. I'm so grateful that I have eyes to see this moment. I'm so grateful that I have ears to hear the sounds around me in this moment. I'm so grateful I've even got legs to take this journey in this particular moment. Gratitude, just gratitude for the breath that you're taking in this moment. Just gratitude for the awareness. Because your awareness is unique. Only you have your awareness. And many other people live their lives completely ignorant of what you are aware of. So gratitude is such a powerful vibration to put out into the world, because I believe that the world gives you back not what you want, but what you are. And if you feel grateful in your heart, not grateful to someone, but just gratitude for the present moment, that gratitude, that vibration of gratitude, such a powerful energy, it ripples out into your future and brings you information, situations, circumstances, events, and people that are in alignment with that highest vibration radiating from your heart. If you have resentment or resistance in your heart, you're going to meet those people on your path. That's for certain.
Now, and gratitude also for, as we said in the last one, for acceptance. Gratitude also for the difficulties. You know, a lot of people who have had dreadful things happen to them. They've had, announcements of terminal illnesses, and they've lost incredibly close people. Everybody's had something. Many, many people will say that's the best thing that ever happened to me in terms of my journey, in terms of my bigger journey. And I think over the last 2.5 years, I would say that people have become more awake, more aware, and more conscious than for decades, because they've been faced with real difficulties, and there could be a gratitude for that, rather than seeing it as, oh my God, there's just crisis after crisis, which is what it's felt like for many people. Is there some gratitude in the bigger picture again for, oh, this is part of my journey because I'm here. So clearly it is part of my journey.
Yeah.
And you see people, you see those people who overcome those really crazy things. Somebody that can't walk or doesn't have legs, doesn't have arms, and they're actually able to still be accepting and grateful for their lives that they have.
You look at Helen Keller.
It's incredible. Yeah, I watched something the other day with a guy who doesn't have legs and doesn't have arms. He goes around the world teaching people.
Yeah.
And they said, he'd never walk, and he walks on his bum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gratitude, for everything as part of the journey.
Yeah.
And then the last one, John?
The last one is love. Isn't that something that your heart really yearns for? Isn't it the ultimate quest of your soul is love? And, unfortunately in our culture, in our language, love has been so misused. In fact, love is seen as a somethingness to be given or to be taken away from you. And that isn't the love that our heart yearns for. That is the conditional love of the mind. But the real love that we yearn for is this unconditional acceptance, unconditionality, no specialness. Love is just the ocean. We may be waves on the ocean, but our true substance is the ocean itself. And that's, I think, the fundamental energy that can drive us up this mountain, on this journey, moment to moment to moment, is to know that this love is all that is. It is the very substance of life itself. It flows into this realm through the portal of presence. That is love. And, that I think when we are in love, we feel so much more capable, so much more intelligent, so much more creative. And wouldn't it be beautiful to live every single moment of your life in love? Well, that is a matter of awareness, because in truth, we are in love. We are in an ocean of love. It's only our misperception and all the baggages that we carry. Jesus said, remove the log from your eye, and that removal of the log is the removal of the blockage to seeing what is true in each and every moment. So love, that is a beautiful one. Yeah.
And that kind of leads us to the end, really, because there is no journey. There is no mountain, because we already it. We already are love. There is nowhere to get to.
There's nowhere to climb.
There's nowhere to climb.
That's the biggest cosmic joke. We've just given you 8 steps to climb this mountain, but the ultimate realization, and you also started to say, there's no you to climb the mountain. There's no mountain to be climbed, and there's no you to climb the mountain. And that is the biggest cosmic joke. But it does take a lot of releasing to get to that state of awareness, to realize that it's a journey without distance to a place that you never left.
And that's what we're all learning.
And that's liberation.
On this journey.
Yeah.
Is we're learning that.
Yeah.
And that's the journey.
Yeah.
But there isn't a destination, because it's here. It's right here.
Yeah.
Now.
It's a journey.
You have to go
No.
to get it. You're not going to suddenly get to it somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can only get to it here, in moments.
It's a journey home.
It is the
And
journey
where is home? But where the heart is. It's coming back to who and what you always have been. It's the biggest cosmic joke. The universe, life has played the game of hide and seek. And it's spent many eons, many lifetimes, hiding itself in form. And now we're on the return journey. We're playing the finding part of the journey. And it's to realize that you were already it. That which you were seeking, you were already it. But I think we need to go through the 8 steps to ultimately realize this truth. It's okay, you can hear it, you can read about it, but it's got to be realized in your own awareness. And realization means to see with real eyes, to clear off the blinkers, to clear off all of the barriers that we have built up to love, to come back to love.